Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm representing the many tradesmen of Vancouver who felt their voice would not even be heard if they came here. I may be a councillor candidate for Pro-Vancouver, but I'm not here for that. I'm here as a tradesman. I've been working in Vancouver's construction industry for the past decade. At this point, I've built just about every kind of house there is, and that includes the duplexes that this rezoning is for. I want to speak to what I consider to be the false narrative that this will lead to affordability. I can tell you from firsthand experience, affordability is a type of supply, not a result of it. I could build you I could build you an affordable duplex and I could build you a luxury duplex. It's not about what we build or how much of it we build. It's about how we build it. And we're not building for affordability anymore. We're building for profitability. We're building for sellability. And this rezoning doesn't address that. It just assumes that if we build enough, it's going to lower the cost of what we build. And I could build you 1 million duplexes full of granite countertops and hardwood floors, and they're not going to get any more affordable. If you want to rezone for something, rezone for rental, rezone for income-based zoning. Stop just looking for the profit in the city. I don't want to, I'm just going to be frank here. You guys are out of touch with the needs of the people. You've spent too much, are you even listening to me, Gregor? You've spent too much time behind that office and at that desk. You've lost touch with what the people need. The people need affordability, not an increased supply of unaffordable homes. That's all this is. We could build all the duplexes we want. It's not going to help the city. I'm a tradesman. I could be making a lot of money off this rezoning. This rezoning means a lot of work for me, but I'm adamantly against it because I know from 10 years of firsthand, I've been on the front lines of this housing crisis for the past decade. I can tell you from personal experience, this will not lead to affordable housing. This will just lead to an increased supply of unaffordable homes. So if you want to build affordable housing, look to the Vancouver Special. 3 decades ago, that was the last time we purposely built something for the middle class to be able to afford. So I could have lined tradesmen up down the street who think this is a stupid idea. Every tradesman I've talked to thinks this is a bad idea, but they don't bother showing up because they don't feel the voice will be heard. They don't feel that coming to this event and speaking at this event is going to change a damn thing. And frankly, I don't think either. I think we could line up all the speakers we want against this and this would still go through. I think, to be frank, I think this whole community consultation is a farce. It's like me calling my boss when I'm halfway home to ask if I can get the day off. This is already a done deal. So if you want to actually listen to the people, listen to the people. This is not community consultation. This is a joke. The community does not want this. You've seen from the amount of speakers that came here and the amount of speakers that are still waiting to come here, the community doesn't want this. The developers do. Try to find me a single tradesman who wants this. I dare you. Just one tradesman with calluses on his hands, not someone that just makes money off it. Find me one man who is out there building homes like me who supports this. I dare you. That's all I got to say. I came from work today. I'm still in my steel-toed boots. I came from work. I missed work just to be here and speak, to try to tell you, please don't do this. This is not what the people want. This is not what the city needs. This will not be good for Vancouver. Please, I address all the councillors here. Please don't do this. I've been a tradesman in Vancouver for the past decade. We don't want this. Please don't do this. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor DiGenova, you have questions?
I have a question for you.
You have a question?
Please
ask away.
You are probably the best person to answer this question. I asked a few other speakers this question, but if you work in trades, and as you said, you just came from work and there's an abundance of work, do you feel from your experience that the planning department, when it comes to permits and the backlog that we currently have, can handle this new policy that would come out of?
Well, we're already in the middle of a pretty hardcore building boom, and we're severely lacking in tradespeople. At the moment, we're maxed out on the capacity that we can build, and tradespeople are being priced out of the city they build in. They're actually starting to refuse to work in Vancouver because they can't afford to live anywhere near here. So it's kind of a moot point on whether or not the permitting office can maintain this, because it clearly can't even maintain what we're building right now, and neither can the tradespeople. We're completely maxed out. I don't know where you guys expect all these tradespeople to come from to build all these more homes. So yeah, no, I don't think the permitting office can handle this much more building any more than the construction industry can. They're all maxed out. We can't build anything more.
So you think there's an issue both with permits and with trades? That's what I was.
Yeah, it's completely full spectrum issue. We're in every single facet of construction, from the permitting to the building to the land. We are maxed out at what we can build.
I will certainly ask that question of staff. Thank you very much for your comments.
One final note here, the
Councillor Carr.
Vancouver special that I spoke to, it was so simply designed that it almost allowed for rubber stamp approval, and the veteran tradesmen that I spoke to said they could pop those things out in 3 or 4 months because they were simple to build. It wasn't an overly complicated building, it wasn't an overly beautiful building, it was an affordable building, and that's what we need to look to again.
Thank you.
Councillor Carr, you have
Thank you.
questions? Councillor Carr?
Yes.
You have more questions, Mr. Krellin?
It's been a long day, I'm sorry.
Councillor
Thank
Carr?
you. I appreciate you staying. Thank you, Mr. Crellin. I think you might have started to answer my question with your last comment, but you made the statement that that affordability is a type of supply, not the result of supply. So what is describe for me the type of supply that as a builder that you think would be the sort of solution, at least, around affordability?
Gosh, that's a good question. To be honest, I haven't seen affordable supply in a very long time. It doesn't include granite countertops, and it doesn't have hardwood floors, and it doesn't have stainless steel appliances. These are things that we don't need. They're just profitable. To speak to what would affordable supply be, just look for the opposite of luxury. People have actually asked me what a luxury home is, and I find that kind of an odd question because we would never ask what a luxury watch is or what a luxury car is. The definition of luxury is something that has no useful value, it only has monetary value. So if we want to build affordable homes, it's about building homes that aren't highly profitable. We just need to build what we need, no more and no less. We don't need hardwood, we don't need granite. There's a lot that we build today. I'm a stonemason, so I could actually build brick and block buildings. Instead, my trade is just being used to increase the value of someone's investment. I don't build homes anymore, I build investments. It's been almost 5 years since I built a home for a family that's going to live in it. Instead, all I do is build homes for people that are going to sell them when I'm done building. I no longer get that human-to-human connection when I meet the family who's going to be living in what I build. And it's brought my heart and my passion out of the industry along with the rest of the tradesmen I work with, because we don't get to meet the families that we build for anymore, because we're not building for families, we're building for investors and speculators and anyone rich enough to buy a home, bulldoze it, and build something that they can sell for millions and millions of dollars. And that's what this rezoning is going to lead to. It's going to lead to all those affordable older homes that need some TLC, to be honest. It's going to lead to them being demolished for something much more profitable to be in place. And if a blue-collar tradesman like me has to come up here and say it, I will. I will speak until I'm blue. We need to build affordable homes. And yeah, affordable homes are just simple. They're not profitable. That's all it is. Developers these days, I speak to the construction management companies on my sites, and they say that these buildings are being built for $350 a square foot. Once you add in the cost of land and the cost of the CACs and DLCs, it adds up to about $500 a square foot is the building cost, and that includes everything. They're being sold for $1,000 to $1,500 a square foot minimum. That's a 50 to 100% profit these developers are making. They just set their own profit margins, and that's the problem here.
Okay, Councillor Ball, do you have questions?
Any more questions?
Yes. Thank you very much. You did call my name, right, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. I just am wondering if, as you mentioned, it's a matter of building simpler homes, sort of like the apartments we had lining Canby, which are large apartments, but they're bare bones, and they've served the city well. I understand the concept that you're talking about, but is the cost of a building now not as affected? Is it more affected by the cost of the land than the cost of the actual building? Because our land right now is so expensive that is jacking up the prices of anything you do, right? Whether it's luxury or not, it's it's going to go up high.
The stats that I've run adds up to about 1/3 for cost of land, 2/3 for cost of building. And the cost of building, I include the soft cost as well as the hard cost. So it's definitely a factor, but it's not the cost of land is not a bigger factor than the cost of building. It's about 1/3 for the cost of land. But like that doesn't have to be a barrier. We can do, the city of Vancouver owns enough property to be providing the land for some social housing. Our infrastructure, our transit infrastructure was never meant to ferry our work staff from Abbotsford and beyond in Vancouver. Vancouver has priced out its working staff, its workforce is being priced out of the city. And our infrastructure was never meant to move that kind of people across the city to work. You've all seen the help wanted sign, you've all seen the boarded up businesses. We have to build homes that the working class can afford to live in, because until we do that, there's not going to be enough people in Vancouver to build all these homes that you guys want to build. We have to immediately get some stopgap measures of homes for at least tradespeople to live in. If you guys want to build the scale that you want to build, we're going to have to put something in place for the people building those homes to be able to live in. My grandfather was a tradesman in the shipyards in England, and the people that own the shipyards would actually build laneway homes for the shipbuilders to live in as they worked on the ships. Is that such a hard thing to work on? Westbank and Ani and Concord Pacific, they got more than enough money to provide some housing for the damn people that are building these homes in the communities they can't even afford to live in anymore. The tradespeople I work with and talk to, they're angry, they're fed up, they are so frustrated, they invite a full economic crash in this city because they feel it's the only thing that's going to be able to stabilize the market. Do you have any idea how desperate and angry someone has to be to actually want that kind of a crash? We've got to do something.
Thank you for coming in tonight. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank
thanks for being here tonight. That's all your questions. Thank
I
you.
actually have one question for you guys.
No, there's no questions coming.